Hey, it's Dan, and welcome to Unified Gaming. So today, guys, we are jumping back into the PTS, and we are going to be looking at the subclassing system and what that offers and how we can break it and make wacky builds. As always, things do change quite drastically on the PTS, so what you see in this video will be different in the future. But I'm going to spend the first 10 minutes or so just explaining the subclass and system, how it works, how you access it, and then we'll jump into whatever the poll has as the most popular. You'll see at the moment in the chat there is a poll on which build should we make first, and I'm thinking either a pet zoo build for like battlegrounds and just be a nuisance, so something like the Warden bear, some of these Daedric summoning pets, or a melee ganker build like my shadow build, which I absolutely love. Like, that thing's so much fun to play. Or the reflector, which is a PvP tank that I've made, which reflects damage. You hold block and people just die. It's obscene but really fun. Or you might have an idea. You might go, actually, I want to make a necromancer ice, knight type build. Put a comment in the chat and we'll see what we can come up with. As always, if you like my content, likes and comments are greatly appreciated. And if you haven't done so, do consider subscribing to stay up to date with the channel. With the subclassing, the system is available as a base game system, and you can access this from the update 46, which comes in June 2025. If you're on PC, this is due around the 2nd of June, and if you're on consoles, it's about 2 weeks thereafter. To access this system, you need to come to Bankorai, and you want to find the Evermore Way Shrine, and here you are looking for this vendor over here in the Adventure Camp. She's an NPC, and when you find her, she will give you a quest to do, which is literally menus, talk to her, and it will unlock the subclassing system. So she can be found over here, Bartra at Hunding. When you speak to her, she will then let you change your disciplines, pick a new skill line, and you can mix and match. What is worth noting is that if you have characters already leveled up with class skills unlocked that are max level, that progress appears to carry over and transfer to all of your accounts. So the big tip I would suggest is when you first log into the PTS, or you log into the live when it comes out, log into every character and make sure that you have these achievements. You can find them under the character tab down near the bottom, and you're looking for the class ones. So for example, it says Nightblade class mastery level 50. When you have this as level 50, that skill line will be 50 on any subclass that you use it on, so any character you have access to. For the system itself, you can reset your subclass and change them at any respec shrine, so something like Gartwood is a great place to go. Red Bandit says, I want to see a siphoning Arcanist. That's quite a cool idea. What do you mean by a siphoning Arcanist? Something that siphons attack, so something like Soul Siphon, so the big AoE that Nightblade has. With the system, once you come to the shrine, you can respec. You can just pick the skill lines, or you can pick the skills or the morphs. You will notice it's very expensive, so make sure you pick the skill lines. And here you click on subclassing, and you pick a class you want to level up. So for example, I might want to use some Dragonknight skills on this one. I could pick Draconic Power. Then I can drop this for Soldier of Apocrypha. And that's as simple as it is. When you do this, it will let you mix and match, it will. So this will allow you to kind of have either, like this build, one of each class. So I've got one Warden, one Templar, and one Arcanist for this build. Or you could have two of one class, but that has to be your base class. So this character, for example, started as a Warden, which means I can have two Warden skill lines if I wish. And then I can have one of something else. So we can show that nice and quickly. I am just going to quickly save the build so we don't lose it. And for people curious, this is on the PTS. So if you go, Dan, why do you have so many transmutes? So why do you have so much money? It's PTS, okay? So we're just going to save this build quickly, just so I don't lose what we did here. So we're going to showcase that you can have two of one class, but that has to be your base class. So for example, we're going to drop this Arcanist one. So we're going to go to Warden, and let's add Winter's Embrace back and drop the Arcanist skill line here. And we can confirm that. Jason asks, can you swap skill lines whenever you want, or is it permanent? You can swap them whenever you want at a skill respec shrine. So I use Gartwood. The armory system. So if you see here, let me save this build here. You will see that this build, for example, and we can show this here nice and simple, it has ice on it. So we've got the Winter's Embrace skill line. The armory system does utilize the changes. So you can literally go to here and it will swap all of the skill lines and all the morphs for you, which is amazing. So you see we've gained a new skill line up here, which is awesome. And everything's been swapped over. So now we've got Arcanist skills on this. Or we can go to the armory and go, actually, I prefer the Warden version of this with the ice. Now I can swap it back. And there we go. So I'm going to suggest like the armory guy. Very, very useful. If you play on PC and use something like Wizard's Wardrobe or different like Dressing Room Reborn, for example, that won't have that functionality because you can't. It is a like ESO thing, so you won't be able to do that with an add-on. That kind of covers the skill system in itself. The one thing to note is that when you mix and match these, any skill line that's not from your main class, so this main class is a Warden, is 2 skill points. So I've got 416. I'm now on 414 skill points. You can see this up here. Every time I get a new skill, a morph is going to cost 2 skill points, which means this is incredibly expensive. So you got 4, 4, 4, 4. So loads of passives will just need tons and tons of skill points. So yeah. William says, are you going to post viable builds or guides based on what you've tested? That is the plan. My plan is at the end of about this week to have a rough text guide. So like just some superstars going, this is what I've used, this is what I think will work, this is some initial testing. I will then wait till week 3, because in week 3 they normally do quite a big change to balance. So if there are going to be any changes, week 3 onwards is normally safe to then have a more finished build with some minor tweaks. So that's kind of how the system works. We're going to look at the poll, and in the next 2 minutes we'll pick whatever's popular and go with that. At the moment the pet Sulk seems pretty popular with 50%. So we might be going and making a zoo build and just see how many pets can we stack, how much of a nuisance can we be in PvP. For this build itself, what I was trying to do for people curious is we were trying to fix the gaps that a magical warden has in PvP. And I'll show you what we've been able to achieve by doing this. One of the issues magical warden has is it has an issue with executing people. So we've put on Radiant Oppression with this magical warden with Frost Reach. It also lacks a stun, which Rune of the Colourless Pool gives us access to. So being an Arcanist with this, we get our armor buff still down here, plus more block mitigations. That's just something. We also get Rune of the Colourless Pool, which is a delayed stun, and it's minor vulnerability and minor brittle, so it's just loads of bonus damage. So this gives us our stun and bonus damage. This gives us our armor buff, which is awesome. These passives are okay. They're not terrible, but they're okay in all honesty. And then the animal companions, because we are playing as a warden, I want to keep the Deep Fisher. I like how this feels. I want to keep like the warden playstyle of, you know, you're doing your Deep Fisher, you're trying to get in close to hit them, and then you're using like your Frost Reach or your Vampire Spammable. So that's where like this kind of idea is coming from. I will just buff up so people can see the values, and then we will go to the most popular in about 30 seconds or so. So if you haven't done a vote, do vote on the poll, and then we'll make a new character and try to make that build. You might also have noticed I've changed my microphone settings a little bit. My son decided to play around with them the last night, which I didn't realise before I streamed. So if the mic is clearer or loud and just easier to understand, then if you can just let me know in the chat, that'd be quite helpful. So just buffed up for people curious, and then we're going to go to the most popular one. On our build, we have the full amount of spell damage, 5,600 spell damage, which is pretty good. So that's a good amount of spell damage on the build. Our Deep Fissure has a 17,800 tooltip, so that hits really hard. 12k initial hit. For our Frost skill, so our Frost spammable, that's 10,000 spammable with a huge dot on there, and our Execute is 36,000. So for anybody who's played Warden, this will give you an idea of what the tooltips look like, and you will kind of know that these are pretty good numbers. And the Dawnbreaker is a tasty 19k, so lots and lots of damage on a Magical Warden. But we're going to go for the most popular poll now, so we're going to end that there. It looks like people want to go for Pet Zoo, so we're going to see, can we make a Pet Zoo, which I've got some ideas, I've been thinking about this already. And we will see kind of what we can come up with. I will put another poll up for the second build we'll try and make tonight. So if you've missed one or you've got an idea, put one in chat and I'll add it. So we're going to have PvP melee ganker. We're going to have the PvP block tank. We're then going to have, and somebody was asking about a Siphoning Arcanist, so we'll try that. And then if you've got any other ideas, just put idea in chat. So there's a poll. We're going to make our new character. And we're going to see what we can come up with. So thinking of the pet build, we're going to focus on a hyper pet build to just have as many pets as we can and be just a real nuisance. It might be a do not die build, possibly. It might be a bit of damage if we can, but loads and loads of pets, that's the goal. So for pet wise, you have the bear from the Warden, which is targetable, and I want targetable pets that can actually body block, because they are the most annoying to fight against. You know, anybody who's used Engine Guardian and fought against Engine Guardian knows how annoying it is. If you've got 3 or 4 of those, that's kind of where we're going with this. So Warden has the bear, which is always up and you can hit it. Sorcerer has access to the Clanfield / Familiar and also the Twilight. So that's 2 there plus 1, that's 3 there already. Now the Necromancer has Blast Bones, which you can target, and it is a bit annoying to fight against. It does have the Ghost, which you can't target. And none of these others have any real pets that we can use. So I would think we're going to have to go between Sorcerer, Warden and Necro as my initial thoughts to have loads of targetable pets. So we can call this Unified Pet Zoo. The race will just be a Dark Elf because it gives you a good base race of just stuff to work with. And we're going to base class this as a Sorcerer because that's typically, what you'd have. Most people would start with a Sulk because that's what a pet build is normally. So we'll see what we can do with this. If you've got any ideas of things to try, put it in chat and we'll see what we can come up with. But my leaning at the moment is Daedric Summoning, probably Animals Companions, and then the Necromancer skill line that has I think it's the bone one, I forget what it's called. But it lets you summon Blast Bones, that one. Victor says you can also use the Shade pet as a Nightblade. People love the Shade, they absolutely... I always find the Shade a bit hit and miss personally, but yeah. Jason says, when you get a moment, as you have the skill, can you check Solar Flare? Yes, I'll check it now. Well reminded, I did forget that. Jason was asking earlier in chat on one of the videos, could I check a skill? So he was asking if the Solar Flare buff, which is quite a good question, it used to buff class skills. So does it buff every class skill, which means it doesn't matter what skill line you pick? Or does it only buff template skills? So we're going to check that now. Solar Flare. Let's get rid of that for the moment. So yeah, it says conjure a ball of solar energy to heave at the enemy, dealing 5.2k damage, and increases your class abilities by 5%. It doesn't specify that it has to be Templar. So in theory, this should buff all of our damage if we do this. So we'll check this quickly because that's quite a cool idea. That's a really Cool thing to check. And we're just going to tick off this quest nice and fast. That's now done. Robert says, Warden for the ulti pet, Sulk for Daedra, Neck for Blast Bones and Venom Skull. You won't get the support pets though if you don't have the 2 Necro lines. Yeah, that was my thinking. I was thinking along the things to body block, things to just be in the way, with Engine Guardian as well, because that's just annoying as hell. And that'd be quite cool. Mikhail says, does the Repentance work on corpses created by Necromancer? From what I understood, yes. I will double check though. We're going to just check this quickly. Let me put on my combat bit so you can see what we're doing. A little tip, if you do PvP, have numbers and percent. This is really helpful. This lets you see like people's health bars as a percentage, which means when you attack them, if they're below like half health, you can see it a bit clearer, and it will let you know when the execute will start to scale or not. And I always have the buster on and turn off permanent. This is how I get like my UI. It's all base game stuff. What we're going to check really quickly is, does the Solar Flare just buff all class skills, which will be really easy to check, or not. Mikhail says, can we check the Corpse Buster set from Infinite Archive? They did nerf summons a little bit when the corpses, they don't last as long. So Dark Flare, when we use this, it increases our class skills by 5% for 10 seconds. So the way we could check this is the Crystal Shard is 5,130. We have 0 passives here, and nothing from this boosts the damage beyond that 5%. So we're going to double check 5,103. We're going to cast that now. So this should be, in theory, higher than 5,103. Yeah, 5,358. So to Jason's question, the Dawn's Wrath Dark Flare does increase all of your class skills, which is quite worth noting. So like for a dot build, that's 5% damage boost on all of your dots. It's quite big. Plus Major Defile. This is actually quite a good skill now. So yeah, we're going to go and set up our skill lines and what we need. So we're going to go and grab a respec scroll from the Crown Store, and we're going to see, can we make something a bit silly. No worries, Jason. It's a good question. I wanted to know the answer myself. So for the pet build, we are probably going to be utilizing the Warden Animal Companions, and we will drop the Dark Magic. So we have Daedric Summoning, Animal Companions, and we're probably going to grab Necromancer, Gravelord, and then drop Dawn's Wrath, because we get Blast Bones, which is pretty decent. So these are our 3 skill lines. We'll see how many pets we can have out. It is worth stressing, in PvP they have put a pet cap of 5 pets, so we can have no more than 5 pets at once. So that's kind of the aim of what we're getting to. So the first pet will be probably the Familiar, because it stuns people. It's quite annoying. We'll then have the Twilight. We'll go for the heal one, because this will be our heal. So at least we can heal ourselves and allies, and we can stack resource. So that's 2 pets always active. We are going to go for the pet. We'll go for the bear, which means we do lose we do lose access to like 2 ults, which is a little bit annoying, because we can't have like Dawnbreaker, Northern Storm, for example, or Dawnbreaker, Colossus. And then we're going to see how else we can get 2 more pets that are useful. Bearing in mind that we have to be careful, because if we get over 5, one of them will turn off. So we need to be mindful of this. We've got Daedric Curse. Now, Daedric Prey. While active, the Curse increases the summon damage, but only by these skills. So we could use Daedric Prey, which will make the Familiar and the Twilight hit harder. I don't think it's worth it because there's only those 2 skills and they're not that great for damage wise. So we're probably better with just Haunting Curse or leaving it empty. So we'll leave this empty. We unequip that for the moment. And I've got an idea of how we can make this really cheesy actually. The 3 pets there. That's not a pet. And that's just a passive damage boost. So we can run Bound Aegis. We need a damage buff, which will have to be Betty. That's 4 pets already now. So we've got 4 pets already, which means I don't think this is counted as a pet because there's a dot. The Blast Bones is definitely a pet because it runs around. Yes, I'm wondering whether we drop the Betty and use Engine Guardian and we get a damage buff from a Scribe skill. Let me go with Regenerative Reward that heals us. Minor Intellect and Endurance. Reduces the cost. Bigger Shield. Bigger Shield is more useful. Small Healing or Big Shield? Big Shield. Okapala asks, how did they change the summoning skill lines? Rebate, you restore magical stamina when one of your non-ultimate Daedric summon abilities end. So that could be Haunting Curse turns off, for example. Your shield runs out. That's how rebate works. Power Stone is the same. Daedric Protection, reduce your damage taken while you have a Daedric summoning ability active. So you have to have one of these active. That seems to apply with Curse as well. So it doesn't have to be a pet on this one. An Expert Summoner increases your max health, stamina, magicka by 5% if you have a permanent pet on. Now it doesn't say whether it has to be from this skill line though, so that's worth checking. Let's try that quickly. Let's put out the bear. Does our health go up? Yes, it does. So actually, it doesn't have to be one of these skill lines for that 5% boost here. So that's worth noting. My thinking is, and this is going to sound a bit weird, yeah? If I put all the pets, one of the most annoying builds in PvP is a zoo, because you can't hit the person, which means it gives you freedom to do like heavy attacks and things that you can't normally do really well. So I'm thinking, hear me out, if we go down to the new mythic item in Solstice, so here it is, and it's this one here, I think it is, not this one, is it this one? This one here. It's called the Rakat's Void Mantle set. So it reduces your light attack damage by 50%, but it increases your heavy attacks by 50%, and it doesn't say it's in PvP. Like normally it says against monsters. The only downside is you can't get resources back from heavy attacks. But if most of our damage is coming from heavy attacks, this is a 50% heavy attack boost, which is really big. So this is really worth considering. Or we could use this one, which gives us major force, so loads of crit damage, minor berserk, and minor vulnerability when we attack people on the front bar, and we get loads of defense when we go defensive. So one of these two is what I'm leaning towards. I'm going to try this one, I think. Ryu says, what about subclass and how do I like it so far? I think it's awesome. It gives you so many options with things you can and can't do and make really weird builds. So my thinking for the build is, let me change it to a lightning staff quickly, and just any one will do. So many. Lightning staff, that'll do. Just my thinking is basically that we're going to sit at ranger, and we just literally heavy attack and send the pets to them, and we spam the blast bones. Because if this is the main bit of our damage, we then abuse proc set to give us even more damage, which we can with heavy attacks really easily. And then all we can literally do is just weave in between our pets, stack our HP stupidly high, because there's no reason not to do that. A curious if bound armaments counts as a permanent pet. It is a pet. I don't think it's permanent. Let's check. Remove, remove, remove. I will need to get a skill respec quickly, sorry. So if you've joined, what we're trying to do is basically make a pet zoo build. And we're just testing a few things to find out how some of the passives work. So we're going to change bound ages to the bound armaments and check if that counts as a permanent pet. Bound armaments. My feeling would be no, but we'll check with this. You have to even, you've got to be in combat for that. So 19.9k stam. I take that off. Oh, it does. That's interesting to note. So let me just put that back on. Yeah, so that's really, so the bound armaments counts as a permanent pet. That's, what about bound ages? Does that? I don't think that's a pet, surely. And it doesn't matter which bar it's on either. That's really nice to know. And we can show that just once more by dropping the bound ages here. You see our stamina pool has now gone down from 19,000 to 18,000. What? I don't. Surely, I'm just thinking that the Magicka version shouldn't be a pet. I don't think it's a pet. So 18.5k stam. What about if we put it on? No. Okay, yeah, so that's actually quite useful to check. It's just more useful to know because if we get to the pet limit, which is 5 in PvP, we've got 3 already. That would be 4. So it would be up there already. When he even says, are you going to use Sergeant's Mail? That's not going to work in PvP. Now, I'm going to show you what is probably the most busted heavy attack build for PvP that is out. And I've made a video on it before in the members tab. It is really, really, really stupid and it does need a nerf. But you have to pair 2 sets together to make it obscene. So, you need to get a set, and it's a bit of a pig to farm. It is a trial set, sadly. So where's the trial set? I think I took it out already. It's a medium armor trial set, and it is Reliquin. So I'll find it down here. Here it is. Reliquin. So your light and heavy attacks apply a stack of harmful winds to your target for 5 seconds. Harmful winds do 132 damage per second, and it stacks 10 times. So what you do to check the DPS, you go 132 times by 10, yeah, equals 1,320 DPS, yeah, per second. Doesn't sound like a lot of DPS, yeah? I'll put that set on and I'll show you how you can make it go obscenely high. So let's get our Reliquin. I don't think I pulled it out, sorry. Medium trial sets. There it is. So we'll literally just get weapons and just chuck it on the body for the moment. If you do this build, you want this on the body, by the way. Well, that's a shoulder. I might skip this. We'll have a little look in a moment. Okay. So you're probably going, that's pretty... Dan, like that's terrible. It's 158 damage. That's 1,500 DPS. It's really, really bad. Now, if you pair this with a dungeon set, and it's a DLC dungeon set, it's called Dragonknight's Grip. Dragonknight's Grip is very, very unusual. So what this set does is increases your damage of all your damage by 330 every source of damage. Doesn't sound like a lot of damage boost. But the things multiply together and you get obscene values when you stack them right. So we'll go for a lightning staff. We'll get the jewelry out as well. So we should have enough here. So what I would do is I'll just put the lightning staff on. Or drag again. switch to the front bar, and we'll show you what the Reliquin tooltip changes to, okay? So we agreed, changing this shouldn't change the value of Reliquin. Reliquin is 190 damage, so it's 1900 DPS as a proc, basically. I chuck this on, so Reliquin's now 560, that's now 5600 damage a second. If you compare it to Way of the Fire, which is every 2 seconds, this is 10,000 tooltip. Because you get this 10 times, so that's 5,600, and it's every second, so if you do it to every 2 seconds, it's a 10,000 proc every 2 seconds. It is obscene. And all you have to do for this is literally just heavy attack. And what's nice is it just charges up. That's 3 stacks already. And that's all you have to do. So this is what I'm thinking of, how to just get obscene damage. Because the Reliquin hits stupidly hard when it's max stacks. And if you pair it with Dragonknight's grip, sorry, as you've seen, it goes through the roof. So that's how we're going to get the damage on this, with the pets just being in the way, being really, really irritating. Because if you've got somebody literally standing behind pets doing this, and what's nice with the Dragonknight and the Reliquin is the Reliquin stays on for like 5 seconds. You'll also notice the Dragonknight set will buff all poisons as well. So if you go to consumables, it is like one of the most slept on sets for PvP. It is such high damage. So if you look, the poison is 1,266, 88 there. If I switch to there, it's now 1,500 and 1,100. It adds it to the poison ticks too. It adds it to any damage source, light attacks, heavy attacks, proc sets, status effects, etc, etc. You can see that it's quite a strong set if you build into this and just stack loads of damage. The reason it works well with Reliquin is because Reliquin has this 10 times multiplier. So you boost it by 330 and then you times that boost by 10 times, which is why it becomes stupidly obscene. Skill wise, we are going to use shield, so we're going to stack health because that's going to be our healing. We've obviously got the Twilight, and that will be like some small healing if we need, but we're going to go high health to get a big shield. We don't need a spammable because we're just doing heavy attack blast bones. Just hit them with defile. You'll also notice with the tooltip of Reliquin, this is unbuffed, so like, I'm not using a damage boost. So here it is, it's 158 on the front bar with the set active, it's 560. Let's put on Betty. This with no CP is now 600 damage, so it's now 6,000 damage a second, or 12,000 every 2 seconds. You can see this is a really strong combo, just pairing these two sets together. So we're going to fix the skills. Mikhail says there's a good heavy attack proc set in the new dungeon. Ooh, creates a giant poison ball. I need to have a look. They normally say like if you do damage against monsters, a lot of the heavy attack sets, which is a bit sad. Like this works around that, this combo. So we need a spammable of some kind of some extra damage. Elemental susceptibility becomes quite good. It's 3 damage. It sounds silly, but if you look at this here, that Dragonknight procs on each of those damage sources as well. So it adds 3 damage. So this becomes basically like a 3 damage over time. Or dot, so this is quite good. So we're going to put this on the back bar, probably. Oh yeah, the Vanderbilt is really good. That though, you have to be melee. If I was messing around with Vanderbilt after the stream last night, and what was the other set? There's a set that when you heavy attack, it gives you, it begins with V, Valians or something. When you heavy attack, you get Major Berserk. I was messing around with those sets. I also tried Cinders of Anthemir and the Anthemir's Construct. So I tried a few different heavy attack combos. The Construct with the Shock set was really good. I didn't know if the Berserk was worth it though. It's very easy to use. I wondered whether Wreck and Blow would be better, but then you don't heavy attack. So yeah. So yeah, we've got shield. We've got just pets in the way to be annoying. We've got damage buff. We've got a passive boost here. We've got a dot there, which is debuff again. Debuff burst skill. We just need something here then. We don't really have any mobility. So we're probably going to need Falcon of Swiftness and Bird of Prey. Because that gives us the ability to, if we need to, kite and reposition. It also gives us bonus damage, so Minor Berserk. And it gives us from the Animal Companion skill line the advanced species, so more crit damage, sustain. So this is where I'm thinking at the moment. The thing we're lacking at the moment is an armor buff. Dell says, where do you get ready? It's been a while, Dell. It has been a while, my friend. Redoquin comes from Cloud Rest, if I remember. So it's in Somerset, and it's this trial up here. Not this one. Cloud Rest comes from there. Really good. And normal is fine. You don't need perfected. Normal works fine with this combo. We've got no armor buff. Now, Mighty Tudor, but I want Engine Guardian because that's just even more like pets and more annoying. So where can we get an armor buff? Because this is obviously minor Aegis, minor resolve, minor protection, max magic boost. It's just really good skill. Yeah, we haven't really got many options, have we? Other than maybe a potion for the armor, which I don't want to do that in all honesty. It's expensive. I wonder if we have to drop this, but that's free pen, and that's quite nice. We're going to have to drop down Aegis. I can't see how else we'll do it. But this is nice. It's free damage, free resistances. Let me get my calculator out. I know this sounds stupid. 660 times... Was it 5%? Minor protection? Yeah. So minor protection is worth 3,000 armor. So this is basically your armor buff. This is equivalent to 6,000 armor with the minor protection and the minor resolve. So would anything else give us more than that? Let's look at the scribe skills. If you've joined us, what we're trying to do is just finish off like this really weird idea, and then we'll queue for battlegrounds to try and find somebody to duel, and just see how like obnoxious this is. Because like this isn't meant to be like a 1vx build. I'm making it very clear on that. But what I want this to be is just really annoying. Dimitri says 3 slots are taken on both bars. What about Oakensall? See, that is I did consider that, but I can't run Engine Guardian if I do that. And I want Engine Guardian because it's another pet. It's annoying. Because then I'd have 5 pets. So I've got 3 there plus the Betty, which is 4. And then the engine would be 5 and I'd be at the cap. Obviously the blast bones now and again will turn it off. But Victor says, what's the highest max mag you can hit now? That is a very good question for a Sulk. That might, let's put that as one of the options next time. Max mag. So that's going to remind me to put. I've got max mag because I reckon you get to probably 65, 70,000 now. There's my initial thoughts. It's not a bad shout, Dimitri. I am really. King says, what are we trying to do behind this build? Basically, this build is meant to be, and I'll change my attributes to kind of get the food on, so you can see what we're doing. Let's get the food on. This is meant to be your like dad build. If you want to play PvP and just be a casual, and just piss people off, basically, that's like what this is aiming to do. This is what you want, because we're going to stack loads of max health and use proc sets to kill people. And then we've got all the pets to get in the way. So like this is going to be incredibly toxic to fight against. And because of the proc sets that carries our damage. So that's kind of what the idea is. I'm probably going to use Jewels of Misrule, because I don't need max resource, I just need sustain and max health, in all honesty. Let's put on our triglyphs. Because we're not going to be using many skills. If you look at what we actually have, we're just heavy on attacking people to death. So let's enchant this quickly. Oh, didn't mean to enchant that one. The options that we have at the moment for what we're trying to do is Oakensall, One Piece Krog, for example, or like Domios for some more max resource, which would work. We do lose very little, actually. We lose Betty. Yeah, I'll probably just go with giant Nat build, basically. I'm probably going to go with Mighty-tudinal, maybe just even forgo the armor and just hide behind the pets. Let's change our attributes quickly. Attribute respec. So we're going to put everything we have into health, because our damage isn't going to come from our like spell damage and stuff. Our damage is going to come from proc sets, which I know sounds like cheesy, but this is what we're trying to do here. So that's 30k health. That should give us a pretty big shield. About what, 15 almost? Yeah, 15k nearly. That's pretty decent. That's a good size shield. These are just in the way. That's just passive damage. That's a debuff, and that's move. We could back borrow a set. Sorry about that. Yeah, let's put on. I wonder if Gaze of Sithis might be better actually. Then let's get Gaze of Sithis. That might be a more useful unique. Because there's loads of armor. It's basically an armor buff. Mythic items. We'll get a shoulder as well. Get like one Lord Warden maybe. Where's Lord Warden? Yeah, that's one armor. Thank you very much. We'll get a heavy armor shoulder. I can't remember where it Gaze of Sithis comes from. Of course there's none of those ones. The Blackwood. Here it is. So Gaze of Sithis is loads of health, loads of armor as well. So that's what we're going to probably do, because that's basically the armor buff always on. We're not going to block because we're heavy attacking, so we don't need block. We've got 500 health recovery, which is nice. No extra health regen in PvPs. Still useful. Just use armor potions, no need for recoveries anyway. Yeah, 100%. If we're heavy attacking, we don't need recovery. But literally, that's all we're going to do on this build. It sounds stupid. I want this to be heavy as well. Look at it. Impen. So that's more armor there. So what do we have now? 21k. With a potion, that's 26k armor. That's not too bad. We don't need that resource. So let's change this to protective. Because again, that's another 3,000 armor. Now you could change this if you want to like bloodthirsty or etc. Oh, we put that one there. No, our regens will be low on purpose. That is completely fine. We could use the banner bearer. That's actually a really good shout. What's the options? Let's see what options it gives us. Banner bearer is a cool skill. Maybe it has armor in there. It's minor resolve. We have that already. We got minor protections. That courage is just more damage. Grants a shield every 3 seconds. That's just not great for what we're doing. 6%. That's okay. Is it a constant drain of resource? I don't think it's worth it for this. Is this major? No, it's minor resolve. Is this major resolve down here? Minor resolve again. This is major down here. There's only 10 seconds. Yeah, banner will exhaust this dam. Let's put on our CP. Let's see what we can do with our CP as well. So if people have joined, what we're trying to do is just make an obnoxious zoo build, and then we just heavy attack people to death. But that is the plan. So it's not meant to be like a 1vx build by no means. It's meant to basically be sitting in a group or in battlegrounds, being incredibly obnoxious and trolly, and then using that to your advantage to just annoy people so they make mistakes. Plus the procs will carry the damage. That should buff the... That will buff the Reliquin, and this should also buff Reliquin as well. There's 2 buffs there. I don't think Reliquin's counted as damage over time. Let's have a look. It might be. It's one of those weird ones. Yeah, 642. I need to put Reliquin down there. There we go. There's a 651. Let me turn off Deadly Aim quickly. So put Master Arms. So we're just checking how it counts it. 619. It's annoying that you have to wait. So sometimes the controller UI is really annoying. Bite and Aura won't buff that. 619. Yeah, so the CP wise that's buffing it. I could just check on Google, I know this, but it's like extra effort. Martial Arms doesn't buff that, so it is Deadly Aim. They are counted as a dot now, which means this should also buff it too. So we've got to wait before we can put it back in. So the Deadly Aim should increase this. Yeah, it did. And then if we put on the Thaumaturge, that should also increase it again. So 6, 8, 2, yeah, so that does, okay? So that's now 758 per second. Times by 10, that's 7,000 damage a second on a proc, which is obscene. You can literally just do this. And we've got all the pets in the way. And we just heavy tap Blast Bones. And then we just sit behind the Blast Bones, keeping the Blast Bones between them and us. And you'll see the Reliquin will just, it does a lot of damage. Plus you got the heavy attack being boosted by Dragonknight as well, which is always nice. So that's helpful. We've got 25k armor doing this so far. So we've got 25,000 armor. Let me just change, we've got to change a few glyphs quickly. I think we might actually be onto like a pretty annoying zoo build for PvP. I don't know what you guys think. If anybody has PTS installed, you're welcome to come duel. I'm more than happy to kind of test it out, if that makes sense. They're all protective. Yeah, I don't think none of that will help us with what we're trying to do here. I think we've got the Lavamundus. Yep. So we've got 8k pen plus major breach from the susceptibility. So that's 14k pen. So it's decent pen. It's not the best, but it's enough. That should be reinforced. So that's heavy armor. Impen. We're just doing the traits now. Impen, because we don't need mobility. We're just heavy attacking. Impen. I'm going to go Impen here. Reinforced is very close at medium armor. Impen's like very, very similar, but with the Nightblade having the spec bow like available to everybody and being shot twice, I'm probably going to go Impen. The same with this one here. Because again, it's medium, it's not heavy, so it's not enough of a boost. Let's put on our rest of our blue CP. When you deal direct damage, you heal for 7% of your damage. That's free healing. Problem is, Reliquin isn't direct damage. I don't think Reliquin can crit, if I recall. I think that's the one thing with Reliquin, it can't crit. Yeah, I've not seen any crits there. Let me combat metrics. Add-ons. What's that missing? Lab data encode. Is that down here somewhere? I need to install that. I'm positive Reliquin can't crit. Like 99% sure on that, and I've not seen it crit once. So if you watch that number there. So we'll get up to 10 stacks, so it's a consistent number. Then we can keep track on that number. The 2392, do you see that's not going away? My Betty's gone though. 2271, 2163, 2163, 2163, 2163, 2163. Yeah, so that should have critted by now. Yeah. I don't think Reliquin can crit, which does give us a bit of a problem with the armor. Because this is not helping us. That doesn't help us. That kind of helps us. I think we might better actually put it on light armor. Getting the pen, the recovery, and the snares. I think the damage would be similar, but I think Reliquin would probably be better on the jewelry and weapon rather than the armor. And Dragonknight on the armor. You do lose about 3000 resistance, but you gain more penetration, a lot more damage. So if we're maximizing damage, you have that option. Let's finish the CB. So we've got the CP here. Now I'm just going to check what is the tooltip on the Twilight. So it's causing it to heal 2 friendly targets for 9.7k. So it's about 5k in PvP. It's not a huge amount of healing in all honesty. The shield is massive though. That's massive in PvP. So I think what we're going to do is see, maybe can we boost the healing a little bit? Now I wonder if is it considered AoE, the Twilight? I think I'm going to push the damage. I want to do more damage. That ability is not going to help the damage there. This should help the damage down here. And that won't help damage. I can't crit, so that won't help. That won't help. That's just funny. This is just a funny thing. That isn't going to help. That's not going to help. One of you heal yourself or an ally and grant them a damage shield up to 2 seconds, 6 seconds. That could be useful. That's 5k in PvP. That's just regens. That isn't going to help us. I'm probably going to go with this, I think. Because it basically gives us a extra layer of defense. If we're lower health, we just push the heal and it'll give us a shield, which will give us a chance to get another heal on or a streak or something, like a bird of prey and run away. The red ones, we are going to stack the shield even higher again. I don't feel we need celerity in all honesty because we're heavy attacking, so we can't move faster anyway. So we're going to go for this here. Since Reliquin can't crit, perhaps try Malakath. I have used Malakath with this. And it is a nice damage boost. I find with it though, the Malakath is awesome. The problem that we have in most cases is that you lose a lot of armor from not having Gaze of Civis. for a tiny bit more damage. Let's try, not that one, Pain's Refuge, is it up here? Yeah. So this is what I'm thinking. Bastion for big shields, Pain's Refuge for more mitigation, armor, health for just bigger shields, more defense. On the blue ones, we have more damage on Reliquin, more damage on Reliquin, more damage on Reliquin. And then from the brink, if we get really low health and we heal ourselves with Twilight, it gives us a big shield, which will give us a chance to then get out of trouble. What's our shield here? Is 20,000. We'll check in Cyrodiil or in PvP in a moment. Let's grab some food. Some poisons. Let's get some potion. Yeah, so with the buff then on this, I'm just thinking of how easy this is to play, because I want this to be easy to do. This should be an Inferno Staff. And this should be the... Is it Black Rose? Wrath of Elements? I always forget, was it... Wait, I always forget which one it is. There's Black Rose Destruction Staff. No, it's not that one. Maybe it is Devate. There you go. Again, like this gets buffed by Reliquin as well, so this is just another damage boost again, which is just annoying. Use an Inferno Staff on this, and then use it as defending. The reason we use an Inferno Staff, it's a free dot for. So if I buff up, you'll see on our Trifocus it's 23,000. It's a free damage boost. Like, there's no reason not to use it. So we'd literally heavy attack, and we'd literally just heavy attack blast bones. And just let the Reliquin do the damage. And if you want, between you do it, you can literally put on a shield, and then put on a shield between it. So every single time you cast, you just put your shield back on. So like that's what I want this to be, like obnoxious. You either go with blast bones or shield. And if you stick close to them, you can obviously do that. And obviously with all those pets just chasing one person, it's 3 things in their face all of the time. Your job realistically will be sit by the Twilight with blast bones and just do this. And move in circles. The Reliquin procs 694. Let's put on our damage buff. That's 772. So that's 772 times 10. So that's, what is it? 7,720. And then what's that? 14,000, 15,440. So if you compare it to like Way of the Fire, this set is now giving us 15,000 every 2 seconds. Way of the Fire is normally about 3,000 to 4,000 on a good day. So this is significantly higher. I'm going to jump into BGs if there's a group. I don't think there is. But let's see. Maybe we can find one. I will go into IC as well, just to see how big is the shield. And then what we'll do is we'll look at the poll and see what do we want to make next. So there's a choice of melee ganker, block tank, siphonist, arcanist. The block tank kind of at the bottom, and then we also had a max mag build, so I'm going to put those as the options because the ganker and the arcanist are the same. So we'll have what class build next. Max mag, melee ganker, siphoning, arcanist. and then it'll just be other. So I've removed the block tank thing because that wasn't like popular on there. What's the shield here? It's a 10k shield, which is not bad. They did obviously nerf this quite a lot actually in PvP. It's not a terrible shield. Was that like 50,000 effective health? Let's see what this. I want to see. Can we do a boss? It sounds stupid. Do we have enough damage to do a boss with just heavy attacks? Because this could be quite a good way to just farm Telva. Like if you need money, you just set this up. You could just heavy attack bosses to death and not die. So we've got everything ready. There's no buff management on this, which is awesome. What's I healed? 4k heal, that's not too bad. Yeah, that's pretty decent. So let's heavy attack see this, what this does here. So you can see the set charge up. So where's that? That's the boss there, yeah? Let's... Because if we can literally, sound stupid, but if you can literally just do this and get some free money. Yeah. Still hasn't broken the shield yet. Regenerative ward might be nice though actually. What's the heal like? 7k, that's not too bad. Yeah, I'm saying it's quite easy to not die on this. Because your shield is pretty big. You got potions, you got heals. Yeah, I think for like an easy, it sounds silly, but if you want an easy build to just farm Telva, it's not the quickest. But it is very simple. And all I've been doing is just heavy attack skill. I know it's... So let's get a heal back. So we're going to play it more at range now, kind of, which is what I would suggest doing. And what's nice with Reliquary, you can just light attack to keep it going. And because there's a lightning and stuff, all the explosion hits everything around it. So it's also got a bit of AoE cleave. This is like really simple to stay alive. That's 7,000 Telva. I got a lead. I want a lead. Yeah, I think this does what I want it to do. And what alliance are it? Are there any players? Can we find somebody in here to fight quickly? And we'll switch to the next class in a moment. So get those dots are on him there. Those are on him there. Because you can just do one heavy attack and then that damage just creeps up slowly. Yes. So that was nice and easy. That wasn't too hard doing that. I'm going to quickly just scan around IC to see if there's anybody in here. Dragon says, have we tried out maximising the pets? We've got as many pets as we're allowed. So in PvP, you can have 5 pets. The problem with doing a pet build in PvP is you lose damage because you have like no real good damage skill lines. I am just checking if there's any other players. I don't know what alliance this character is. It's yellow. I don't think there are, but we'll have a little look. Normally you get like some people going around in temple. It's quite a common, popular place to fight. Or arena. So we've done those 3. There's nobody here then. I will see if we can get a heavy attack duel just in Evermore. Just to kind of see how it does. Because as soon as you're already on them, it's pretty horrible. And then we'll go and make a new character looking at the moment there's a choice between melee ganker, max mag, I put max mag, max mag, sorry, or siphoning arcanist. You always go to bash crow in IC. Yeah, bash crow is pretty good for that. I think you can make some wild bash builds with this new change. Like the Arcanist had some really good passives for bash builds. Really, really cool stuff. And then adding on like some of the DK passives maybe, or some of the Templar ones, sorry, the Arcanist, Warden ones, I don't know what I said, Arcanist, Warden ones to the Arcanist would be good. It's laggy around here, isn't it? Who's that? Let's see if he's a skeleton. Does he want to fight? I don't know. Oh, he's got 3 pets over here too. Like, I wouldn't use this in a duel, by the way, just a heads up. But I just want to like see what the damage is like to another player. Even though it's very, very laggy here. Like, look how laggy it is. I pushed the skill ages ago. Yeah, the lag is mad. Quite cool though. Pummeling Goliath is a must. Does that? He looks like he's in his inventory. Oh, he's got. There's so much lag here. Like I invited him to duel. I think he's a no. I think we're just gonna switch. I can't see anybody else around. The melee ganker seems the most popular. Tasha, you got that guy there. It's laggy. I just want to see how much Drago can hit them for. With the pets. Is that us or not? I don't know. It's so laggy. Oh, no, we've... I don't even know who I'm fighting. Ah. It's so laggy. It's so laggy. So laggy. so laggy. It is so laggy. Oh, the lag is insane, but I think when we got the damage on it, initially it was doing pretty solid actually. There's a lot more damage coming out of the ready than I thought. Just look at that, it's like still frozen. Let's do that, dude. Oh, that lag there is. Whew. Can't CT break. The lag. It's just like literally like PowerPoint. I'm trying to hide behind the pets. But yeah, look. If I'm not dead here, I don't know how I'm not dead. He's surely got to kill me between now and then. I'm pushing skills. I'm hoping I don't die. Yeah, that is. Yeah, dueling here is incredibly laggy. We got kicked out. That's how bad it is. It kicked us out. That's insane. All right. Maybe I'll have a look and see if we can find someone that's not as laggy as there. It looks like it's between the melee build. We don't have that on Michael because we have 3 different skill lines, so we've dropped quite a lot of the Warden stuff. This works though, as in like it does what I want it to do. I'll try once more to see if we can get one where it doesn't lag. But I'm cautious about if you can't push the skills, you can't fight properly. Like yes, we're using a zoo. It is so laggy. See if we can try someone over here, away from more of that. It's just so laggy. We're going to try and go over here, we are. So he's got Ardent Heart, he's got a proper build on. Go on, heavy attacks. Go on, procs, cheese him down. Get my other pet out, thank you. Keep that Erratic gun, thank you very much. That was a good... I got my heal going. Go on heals, go on heals. Het dueling. Oh, considering he has a proper like spec for duels and stuff, this is actually more effective than I thought. With just heavy attacks. Quite like that. We'll see if we can get one more in. But yeah, so this is like doing what I would. We'd obviously be at range in groups because I wouldn't duel on this. Oh, he wants a duel. Let's get our bear out. So many pets. Fossilize is actually really good. I quite like that. Yeah, he'll hit me with Shattering Rock. Oh, he's got Reliquin as well. He's done the same thing. Yeah, Reliquin's toxic. Yeah, I think for what I want this to do, as in just sit back at range and heavy attack with, you know, you're doing some use to the group. It's just annoying. It's cheesy. You know, it won't kill obviously 1v1, obviously, because that's not what it's made for. But it is annoying to fight against. As soon as you get those ready stacks up, you do notice the damage. Got the guards. We're going to make a Nightblade, I think. Like a melee ganker, if we can. I am wondering whether the blast bones is worth it. Like, it's cool. Try one more. Who's that person there? He's got bad look on. He's got like a proper like build he has. Oh, it's him. Get the Ready Queen going, stick behind our pets. Go on, pets. Yeah, that Reliquin is really freaking horrible to fight against. Get my Twilight out. As long as you get that rally on him, it's got nice damage. Down to 5 stacks. He's gonna get me with a. Come on, get shield going. Go on, pets, keep me alive. The pets love. Go for some healing here, so I get a son on him. Go on, little pets. Do the work. Do the work. This is very, like, he's obviously got a really decent build. And considering, like, how simple this is with heavy attack and doing skills. Oh, I got us there. That is decent though, considering how, like, he's obviously versed at fighting. the damage is pretty nuts for just procs and just doing crazy stuff. I wish I had combat metrics on. But yeah, I'm happy with how this feels actually. This kind of does what I want it to. The blast bones was quite nice because of the defile. I might change it though because it's not adding loads. It is like extra. We're missing all the passives down here. Let's put the passives on. Yeah, I forgot to put the passives on. So yeah, so that's like an extra 600 damage a second, that is. Plus all the penetration. Yeah, note to self, put the passives in, that does help. We lost 10% damage there. We lost a pen. And we lost some sustain. So yeah, that was pretty... I'm quite happy with this. Let me do the superstar. So this is what I'm thinking currently. It's like a pet zoo. It's just a heavy attack pet zoo for PvP. It's stupid. It's annoying to fight against. It's hard to kill 1v1. So, you know, if you're hiding around your pets and you're moving in a big group, it's going to be really toxic. Especially if 3 or 4 people run this. Like, literally I'm running around with 3 pets out all the time. The Betty, and then I'm putting out a 4th that these are all like targetable ones, these 3 plus my blast bones every 3-4 seconds. It's pretty nasty. Perhaps some CC skills. Yeah, having a CC would be nice. I could use... the reason I was using blast bones is just because it was more like thematic. I think Deep Fissure would be better personally. That is a pretty nasty dot though, look at that, it's disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. Let me try that. Where's that guy that we're fighting? He's pretty decent. Is that him here? Banksy says, using the Necroskeleton Arcanist proc, the pet on the Sulk. No, it needs to be one that's always on. The bound armaments do, however. Because the Arcanist one you turn on and off. Go for it with the familiar is our stun, by the way. Ah, I got him. The pets are pretty toxic. It wants to duel again. I did jump and push my... Yeah, the immersive resolve hits hard. Let me try that again. He was using his cleanse a lot more that time. I think I prefer Blast Bones though. Having done the 2, I think Blast Bones is better. Where did he go? There you go. I'm pushing my shield. He's running away. He's on for spec bow. That's literally what he sits to do. Yeah. We are stacking builds, we are. Dragon Serpent's Disdain. Serpent's Disdain is overrated, personally. Yeah, I was using the barrel now and again. As you can see, it's down on 42. But yeah, I quite like this. It's silly. Like, this is meant for more of your... let me go to that dude here. He declined it. I like the javelin into... We'll see if we can get one more duel when I'll switch character, okay? Got my Twilight out. I got the guards attacking me. No, the guards. Guards got me. Look at the guards. Yeah, this works. I think it does what I want. Yeah, guards. But yeah, this is stupid. Like, this is exactly what I was kind of getting at with the name of the stream. So we're going to switch class now. I'm happy with this. Oh, he wants to fight. Oh, let's fight. Oh, he's gone off. He's got his Glibbering Shield. We're going to wait for that to pop first. Because I am not going to be silly. There you go. Now it's gone. Got to go for the stun of the Twilight on the Clanfear. And then go get my bear up. Go on, Blast Boons. Bash, 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 bash. Ah, we got him. Yeah, I like this. This is silly. I like this. That person's like, so many pets. Like it's... someone was asking about the stun, by the way. The familiar stuns, that's what I'm using for the stun. Get those ready up. Gonna go for blast bones and go for a bear. Go for a bear now. There, it's dead. Ah, love it, love it, love it, love it. Yeah, that Reliquin 10 stack is crazy. Let me message him ask how much was ready doing to him. So yeah, we are going to change. But yeah. Very, very happy with it. Because it's just so obnoxious. Like, so obnoxious. So let's change. For anybody who's joined, we've made a pet zoo build that's a heavy attack build for PvP. So you literally just heavy attack people as you saw, and hide behind your pets. And if they get close to you, you can just sit on top of the pets. Take very little more damage. He wants to do one more duel. Get those procs going. That ready's almost there. Reliquin's now maxed, so that's our damage up now on him. So we're going to go for the kill now, we are. We put the stun on. So, common stun. Oh, he put on shield. Oh, so when this happens, you stop attacking them. Because he's waiting for that to go, I'm not silly. There we go. Gonna go for the stun and gonna go for a bear now. There you go. Yeah, that's I like this. If you're curious, this is the kind of stuff, by the way, I do on my members section on YouTube. So like, I make basically stupid stuff like this because they're not things you'd make a build video on. Like, realistically, who's going to be looking for a zoo in PvP? 35k over 62 seconds. Yeah, so my Reliquin did 35,000 to him in a minute. That's just Reliquin. That's actually stupid. Yeah, for people curious, the Reliquin proc is 829. It times it by 10, so that's 8,000 damage a second, or 16,000 every 2 seconds. It is disgusting. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. We are going to change build though, because I've been on this for a while. I am very pleased with where this is. It should get nerfed in all honesty. We are crutching on a set interaction, but it is still fun. So, class-wise, people were asking for the basically a melee gank build. So I'll show you kind of one of those. The guy's got 34,000 resistance as well. Oh, I am going to switch. I am going to superstar this for people curious. I'll put a screenshot in my Discord, so if you're a part of the Discord, you can see this. And then if you want to make this, you can. It's going to be in the PTS tab in the Discord. That Cheek was saying, if you find someone squishy, that it would slap. We're going to switch characters. Yeah, if you've got any ideas or things you want to see, then we'll have put in the chat and we'll have a little look if we can get around to it tonight. Banksy says, is there any new skill styles on the PTS for class skills? I haven't really looked, to be honest. It's not really my jam. Maybe I'm not 100% sure. We are going to make a melee gank blade though, or a gank build. So the first thing I'm going to do is have a look at the Nightblade and just check what skills do we want to use on the melee part. Because you kind of got two ways. You either go down the heavy attack set up where you use like the Anthil's Construct, you use the new lightning set and the other heavy attack set that gives you major berserk when you heavy attack. So those three would work quite well with like Crystal Weapon, for example. Let me just quickly change that from here to Dark Magic. Because the Crystal Weapon I think works when you heavy attack as well. Yeah, so it deals it on heavy attacks too. So we could use this with a heavy attack build. So you could use this with like Anthemyr's Construct. You need to have Cloak obviously. And we'd have 1/3 slot. But the question would be, what do we use for that third slot? Now, Assassination has some really good stuff. You've got Concealed Weapon, Surprise Attack, Execute, Spec Bow. So I am thinking possibly Nightblade, but doing Assassination and Shadow with Dark Magic as a melee heavy attack build. Set-wise, we would probably use these sets. So let's go down to... is that one of the new ones? Where are they? A Shadow and Storm Calling should be similar damage plus Bolt Escape. Yeah, Bolt Escape's great. Love Bolt Escape. You wouldn't get the Crystal Weapon though, the Dimitri, which would be the only issue. So I'm just seeing if there's anything here that added that would help. Because we've had a new few things recently. Nope. 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 Okay, let's go to armor sets then. Crafted sets. No, none of these. I want to see if there's any good like classmen we might be able to use instead. Overload and Incap. Yeah, Overload and Incap. You can light attack Overload. I've done that. That does work. Umbre's Edge. I'm just seeing if we can use any class set to like maybe get something unique with this. This is a very good set, by the way, for Nightblade. For like if you use a Magblade. No. This is very good. Firebrand's very, very good. Monolith of Storms is near. That's quite cool. Where you have a permanent pet active, increase your damage done and hidden by 15%. This value is reduced to 10% while affected by Battle Spirit. That's a cool set. I wouldn't use it personally for what we've done, but it's a cool set. This is very good. This is what I'm thinking of for using for an alt gem build. Very, very good set. Yeah, so none of the class sets really would work with what we want to do here. That's what I thought, but I wanted to just double check. TLT crafted. Oh, you have to go for all of those. I will Google the set I'm in because I know this. It's the lightning one. I forget what it's called. You got Vandalion, however you say it, which gives you the heavy attack bonus. I think it's that one. I'll link the set for people curious. This is the lightning one. So, this is a lightning set, and it's called this. This is from Fallen Balance, so it's one of the new ones out. So that's that set. There's another set that gives you major berserk when you heavy attack. I can't remember. We're going to ESO sets quickly and Google it. I remember it's when you do a heavy attack, you get major berserk. When I see the name, it will come to me. It's not that. Where is it? I can't remember what it's called. If you can remember the set's name, I can't think of the name of the set. Because I was thinking of Ounce Mere Construct. So this, I was thinking of this set with that set, and then there's a heavy attack set, which I can't remember its name. In damage, like a heavy attack, grants you attack a burner heat for 5 seconds. While you have 5 seconds, you generate a warmth and gain a major berserk. Increase your damage done. It's not that. It's similar to that though. It's gonna bug me. This is now. There it is, the Cars Strike. I can't remember its bloody name. This is the other set that I was thinking of pairing these sets. I'll show you. There's this one here. So if you pair these, you can get a really good heavy attack set. And this is craftable, which is quite nice. So it's this one here. Dealing damage with a fully charged heavy attack grants major berserk for 4 seconds, increasing your damage done by 10%. Loads of damage, which is awesome. Really good 5-piece. This can work at range as well, which is quite nice. So you can use that heavy attack bow, for example. So that could be quite... It could be an option. And then we can obviously use the construct set, which is a heavy attack set. So we could use this, for example. Let's get some monsters. We could then pair it with this. Attacking an enemy with a fully charged heavy attack throws an axe at the enemy doing damage, so we could use that. And there's that new set. It was newish. The Resonance. And we could use that. But the issue is you don't have the speed. I like the speed. This is from Fallen Banners, the other set I'm thinking of. And that is a dungeon set though, which is I don't like doing dungeons. It is light armor. There it is. So we could use that, which is another option. Yeah, so I'm thinking these. So we could have this set, which is a very good set. And this would literally just be your sets doing the work for you. I just wonder whether this is nice, And what's good about this allows you to boost your procs, and it doesn't mess around with like if you've got 3 burst proc sets, they don't all sync up easily. It places a charge, both charges explode in a 4-meter burst, so they each do 4, so you have to double that damage, which is why this is a very interesting set. So like we would use, for example, weapons, jewelry and a sash, which means this becomes better than Tarnished Nightmare, but you have to do a heavy attack, whereas I use Tarnish and I use Wrecking Blow on my current build because I find you have typically more burst, plus you use skills, which I prefer, rather than just heavy attack people to death. You would want a maul for this, for more pen. But then it'll be about the sets, the skills. So we could do something like this, yeah? So use that one, use Fates on the back bar obviously, because it's just free damage. We'd have to get some armor. Because this is light armor, said it's the sash for that. And then we want the carbs, or whatever it's called. There it is. And because it's crafted, we can pick the weights we want. So you're on all medium just to maximize damage, or you can go with penetration for like high pen. So this will give you really high crit chance. So we could do something like this. So this would hit really hard. Let me get the jewelry out. And then I would be inclined to put on maybe one of the new mythics, because this hits very, very hard. So the way in which this works is when you heavy attack, you get a bomb on you, and they both blow up. But when you heavy attack and do it next to them, it both can hit the same target. So you'd literally do something like this. Crystal weapon, cloak, heavy attack, skill, dead. And then we could probably put on that monster set that I said, the Anthemy's Construct. I just want to check what the delay is though, because there is a delay between the two. So how much of a delay is there? There is a lot of lag on the PTS tonight, as you can probably tell. I'll show my latency. It's quite laggy. You'll see how I'm like pushing the controller to bar swap, and it's not bar swapping. So all you'd do is this. Okay, so they land at the same time they do. So I'm just wondering whether that would be better than the Wreck and Blow setup that I currently use. Because that hits hard. That will buff that damage. And that hits hard. And that is a lot of damage. It's 3 weapon and spell damage. What if? Yeah, see, Dimitri, I'm literally thinking. I'm wondering whether I've done this before, where I've backed barred Darlock Bray, and then I could put on a mythic item on one trainee somewhere in the build. So the Darlock Bray's on the back bar, always ticking, and then when we go in for the kill, we then go to the damage bar, but we'd lose this 10% damage, and I don't think it's a huge amount of damage lost. can we get a mythic that will increase the damage? Let's look at what mythic options we have. I want to find a way to keep. I like Darla Bray. It's like my favourite set. So I want to try and find a way to get a heavy attack build that's easy to use with Darla Bray that moves fast. And because we can now get Crystal Weapon in the build, this never it never worked as easily. But now you've got this extra source of damage that you wouldn't normally have. That might fix the lack of like an extra damage set. That's what I'm thinking. Let's go with mythic items. So we have a choice of. I might actually need to just re-log out of ESO and log back in because it is incredibly laggy tonight, as you've probably seen, like really, really laggy. I'm just having a little think of what we could do. Hopefully this will fix the lag. The guy is trying the... Yeah, that looks good. That does. Alright, it looks like the things are actually moving now and working. Let's see if our menus are working again because they were a bit laggy. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so mythic items. We need something to give us damage basically. So none of these will give us damage that we need. Maybe marking, but it's a bit naff in all honesty. A bit naff. It's okay, but you can't guarantee the damage. So you got the Berserk, you got the Resolve, you got the Force. I probably wouldn't use Satan to juice us. Malakath isn't worth it. We're waiting for that to load. So what I'm checking for people curious is we're thinking about how we can get damage and then put on access to something like Dark Bray. So we could back bar Dark Bray, for example. And then it will give us the sustain we need. None of those there. The new ones are pretty good. The new mythic items are good from here. So you got this one here, which is pretty decent. Major Force, that's a nice buff. Minor Berserker, minor vulnerability. Wrecking Ball with Selene and Bat Bar Dawnbreaker. I think you mean Wreck and Blow. That's good. That's not going to help us. It's not bad. 50% damage on a heavy attack is pretty nice. That is pretty decent. But I don't think it's been enough for... I think this might be one to consider. Because I'm wondering whether... I like the speed of... The problem with something like this, yeah, is we're very slow. Now, we could obviously do something like this. So this is our sneak speed. But when you're trying to heavy attack somebody, it's quite hard to like land it on. Because if you do that, you would. There's obviously a lot of lag. And so we'd obviously have that. So as we move around, I don't think this is fast enough is my like concern. Because we then move around to the target. Bang. So I don't think this is needed. Let's try without. I'm going to try without. We've got Darlock already, haven't we? My gut feel is I don't think we need that 10% damage boost. And then this would, like, we lose 3 weapon damage here, which is a lot of damage, and 10% down here, which again, a lot of damage. So we need to find a way to add that back in. Now we could add the Major Force and Minor Berserk. You could do heavy attack on the Sulk, like with Overload. But the assassination skills are so good. Because you need the speed boost is nice. It hits incredibly hard. It does more damage to come out of stealth. The execute's decent. You got the spec bow, which stacks damage. So this will help against like consecutive kills. You've got incap. So we had like incap here. This here. Killer's Blade here, for example. You got Camo Hunter already. I think the best way would be to try it. Let's try it without the need for, and go with like Wild Hunt and Dark. I can just see the sustain and the speed. Do we actually really need it or not? Anything else that will give us damage from here? We've got these passives down here. There's no like delayed damage skills there. We could use the vampire. That might be better for this. Because vampire arterial burst hits like a truck. And if we set our health low with being a stage 4 vampire, we can keep our health low and then hit really, really hard. So that could be an option there. So we could do something like this, where we see the target. So we'd have crystal weapons, see the target, cloak, heavy attack, vampire spam. Then do that. And because it's from melee, it would stun them as well. Because it's from stealth and it's melee. So we could try that. Yeah, let's try that. Let's put a Wild Hunt here. Let's change this to this set here. The 15% on the first heavy will be nice, but the heavy attack on Overload is a channel, so you can't do this. But it's really awkward to use, which is like why I've gone down this route. And this is also pen. It's worth trying both, like completely. I think 100% try both. I'm just struggling to see how it would work. Is like my thoughts. No, so these don't need to be on any bar, that's fine. We've got incap there, which gives us the crit passive 10% crit here, which is nice. Plus all the extra crit chance down here. Right, let's put on some other skills we would use. Realistically, we would use contingency. I'd go with the shield, and I would use Warrior's Opportunity and the regens. Just because by doing this, we get the extra damage. But what's also quite nice with doing this combo is when you make a mistake, you've got the shield on you straight away. If I put this like here, for example, let's put cloak on the front bar, because that makes it easier to use. Just gonna swap those around. If you joined us, what we're doing is looking at a heavy attack gank build for melee, like utilizing the different options we have now. So they'll be the same. We need access to a heal over time, so Vigor would be what go there. Because Vigor is great. That's basically our burst heal. That's a movement speed buff. So these are the skills we would use. We need crystal weapon somewhere. So let's get crystal weapon. We may have to drop concealed weapon for crystal weapon. I think that's probably the burst would be nicer. Alright, we're gonna do this. I'm utilizing the Scribing gives us like ways to fix key buff gaps. The contingency has brutality and sorcery, which will solve that issue there. 12 seconds, but that's long enough to get the gank. Which means we can drop rally and cry. We can drop rally. We don't need rally now. And then we can get the concealed weapon back in for the speed boost, because the speed boost is nice. Like that is definitely worth using. So I'm just thinking how you'd do this, because if I cast that, that would proc contingency, wouldn't it? So if I did this, this, do this. Now the vamp spammable can hit harder if we go low health. I'm going to put this here as a stopgap. And then we've got a spare slot here. This could be rally if we want. Because this will turn on the front bar. This is always on. But Dalek is not. And you see that's the issue that we have. So we have to mess around with our set slightly. So we'd have to drop the Vate to 2H if you want the Mythic and the full monster set, which we're going to do now. So we're going to grab armor, where's trainee? The overland set. Overland sets, armor of trainee. There's a bit of a delay on the server today, as you can probably tell. So that'll go there, that's just extra health. This has to be Darlock, so let's get a Darlock. At this point, Darlock bow would make sense, actually. It's just you come down to bar space really quick. That bar space becomes a problem very, very fast. The bow would make sense because we can roll dodge and you get the movement speed if we need to escape. So it means whilst we're moving around, the Darlock's now working on a back bar. Switch to the front bar, turns off. So the idea is that we sit on this bar here, challenge acceleration. We see the target. So we see the target. Because we move so fast now, we can do this, see the target. Crystal weapon contingency. Cloak. Heavy attack. And then we're going really, really fast. I could use Simmering Frenzy, but what happens is it doesn't... the healing from Darlock isn't enough to out-heal the damage from Simmering. So you end up having a net HP loss. I think we're going to try this. I think this is probably the best we'll get. Let's enchant it and see what all our tooltips look like and stuff. And see if we can try it. Oh, we just messaged a guy who we're dueling earlier to see if he's about in 5 to 10 minutes. I will like some jewelry enchantments. So let's get some more jewelry. Go physical damage, thank you. Armor. I'll just grab some prismatic. And then yeah, we're gonna see how hard we can get. This should be decrease health. Oh, with vampire spam. The vampire spam is good. That's what that was what I was thinking initially instead of concealed. But I don't like doing that personally. I find it a bit very hit and miss, literally. That can be whatever you want. That should be sharpened. Because we should have a good amount of penetration. But this should be realistically powered for more healing. So what we can do is, if we are being pressured, we can like roll dodging and push cloak, and we're really fast to get away. Let's do a champion points quickly. That would work. That would work. That would work. You could probably change in here. Not that one. That's quite useful. That's 20% damage boost on the heavy. I don't think it's make that much of a difference. I'll probably leave these the same as they are. Some people might be going, why am I not using the banner skill from Scribing? The answer is it got nerfed. So yeah, I did put in the video very clearly this will get nerfed, and it got nerfed the next patch. So yeah, it's happened a few times with stuff. You know, you make a video on it and it gets gutted the following patch. It's a bit sad. So we'll invite the dude to the thing. We'll do our house. Let's go to settings. There you go. And we'll invite him to a group. I don't think I've done that yet. Food wise, I will probably use Jaws of Misrule, because realistically I will want this sustain. If Darlot's on the back bar, you do need that. We are going to have the Lava Mundus. We'll TP to him. And then we're just going to check to see like what is the burst like with this. Do we need the ult or not? Do we hit hard enough? Am I going to have to really sacrifice something? He looks like he's in the roses. This guild light has everything. It just saves me a lot of job. Yeah, I think we've got all the stuff we need. How are you healing like that while crouched? We're using a set called Darlot Bray. Darlot Bray is really, really good. Like, really underrated. It reduces your radius you can be detected by 10%. You get Magicka stamina recovery every second, and you also get some healing every second. So what's nice is as you sneak around, your stamina doesn't go down. So when you come to then go into combat, you have full resources ready to fight. It's also worth a hell of a lot of sustain. I think we have everything ready. Just check we're not missing anything. We've got all of those in. We have our race, so we need to change stuff. Alright, we're going to give it a go. He's even sitting on a chair. Love it. That's not bad. That's a pretty decent burst. There's a bit of delay there. You saw some lag. That's pretty good, and we move really freaking fast. But this could work. the crystal weapon hits like a truck. And with this, by the way, we didn't have any stacks of Merciless Resolve, so this wasn't stacked either. And we have Incap if you want. Let me grab those. Because I always like the damage buff, Dimitri, is coming from contingency. So when we do the cloaks, maybe we do so we do this one here, crystal weapon, contingency. When we push cloak, it procs and puts on our damage buff. So you see our damage buff is now on. So that was why I did that way, which means we could then put on the vampire spammable. Yeah, so he's a bit tanky there. I didn't land the combo nice though. Let me try that again. When I did, I didn't open up properly. We're going to check what his resistance is as well, because it's useful to know. He should be tanky boy. So we're going to do this. There's a lot of lag in the PTS. 31k since he put Storm on. Let me try with Incap. So he's at like armor cap. And obviously all we are is just... I do wonder if we need the vampire spammable, it hits harder. Like it does hit a lot harder than this. But the damage isn't terrible. And for a heavy attack it's pretty decent. This is why I prefer Wreck and Blow. People, so on Wreck and Blow, I'd probably be able to kill him with it with my normal combo. So the lag, I did push the killer's blade there. WB would be better, but not sure. I'm not sure what you mean by WB, sorry, Dimitri. Yeah, we're working on a melee version. Anthony, I made the snipe one. Amazing. Absolutely, I love it. Like the sniper is... Wreck and Blow. Wreck and Blow is awesome. Love it. This is a great skill. He should be dead. They executed him far. Even heard the noise. And he has 31,000 armor, so he is tanky. So yeah, I think we've got enough damage. Basically, anybody who is a decent PvP player, use your ultimate. Anybody with like 25k health, you'll be fine. This is what I'm probably going to run on my new melee build. The banner got nerfed, Anthony. They broke it. They destroyed it. I did say it will get nerfed, to be honest, so I'm not too surprised. Ah, look at that was a spec bow there. So with a spec bow, that's good. Let me try it without a spec bow. But that is a lot of burst instantly. Sorcerer is better for a snipe build. I'll switch over to it in a moment. If the the lag is insane. Lag is insane. It's alright. We made a pet zoo earlier. The pet zoo was really fun. Like, we've got 4 pets. We were drawing people who had like proper sweat dual builds on, and we were just able to just keep the pressure up and survive. Sometimes kill them, but like, considering we had 40,000 health, we're just heavy attacking people. That's pretty stupid. This is Darlock with a different set. So if I see the person, I'd push this on. I'd run. That was with no lightning set. The heavy attack didn't fire into the set. I've asked him this time if he could, when we do it, see if he could like basically try and survive. So we'll go for like the kill, but basically, can he? So we'll go now, okay? My execute didn't fire then. The execute does not fire. What you might be noticing is that this set here isn't always firing. Now I think it's because the heavy set, in all honesty, is just lag on PTS. Because this is basically 8,000, tarnished is to have tarnished somewhere. It's like 5, so it is slightly more damage for melee, but you have to heavy attack. So we're going to push this on. Oh, that was tasty. That was a good combo. Okay, that's when it worked properly. Okay, yeah, this has enough damage to kill people. I quite like this. Which means we have a spare slot on the back bar, so we could just run a burst still. Wreck and blow of Celine. Celine's good, but Celine, because of the delay, misses a lot. Oh, sometimes the skill delay messes you up on PTS. Dead. Yeah, that's good. That's very, very clean. And I think what's really nice is with this, it's fast. So like, because we've got the Darlock Bray and the back bar still, we get all the resources, so we can sneak for free, which is amazing. I absolutely love that. And then what we can also then do is go into the damage bar. And we've also been able to keep Wild Hunt. What's good about this is that these sets are available now. Like, you can get these already in game. The issue is that you couldn't get this crystal weapon into the build, which was the problem. Yeah, so it's got about a 30k burst with a heavy attack execute. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. This is what I'm using currently. It's a heavy attack melee build. It's designed to have Dark Brain in the back bar to give you the crazy sustain that we're used to with the Wild Hunt speed. So that really high speed sustain build, but with the heavy attack set here and the heavy attack set here. The Vandalorian set you can change to Tarnish if you prefer. Okay. Stealth in the back bar I don't think will make much difference. I prefer it on the front bar just because of how I play the build, but you could move that. We have a spare slot though for something, which... let's do this, let's do this. Alright, let's do this. Okay, ready? I'll duel him on this, okay? We'll duel him on this, okay? I went for... Let's go back and cloak. I love cloak. And Darla gives you enough sustain to literally sit like this. It's actually stupid. The in-cap inspect bow, nice. Tarnish is slightly less damage than this. This is more damage if you're next to them. Tarnish is easier at range. They both have very similar total damage in the end. But if you miss land them both together, then Tarnish is better. If you can land both together, I'm gonna get stunned. I'm gonna get stunned. I'm gonna get stunned. I'm gonna get stunned. Yeah, definitely not dueling. My current melee one is more burst personally. I think my current melee one does hit harder. This is easier to land the combo though. So if you're in a higher mobile fight, I'll ask him if he can run around. So if you're like in a So with this setup, the advantage of this, yeah, The advantage of this is that you basically can like see the target and pick them, and then you can just run up to them and land your damage. And it's much easier to land the combo. Whereas normally, if you're trying to land Wrecking Blow, if you're not skilled with it, it's going to be quite hard. So Wrecking Blow does hit harder, in all honesty, from what I've used. And you could probably get more damage. If I just did this, sounds silly, if I did this here, I reckon I'm going to get more damage, and I'm not going to activate any of my sets. Because Wrecking Blow hits significantly harder than most proc sets. And we've got a crystal weapon with it anyway. Although my execute should be on B. So if you did like Wrecking Blow Tarnish, you'd get more burst damage, but it's harder to use, and that's kind of the difference. And I'll switch to Sulk, and we'll make another character. But we've got a few decent builds, like kind of ready to go for next patch. It's obviously week 1; things will be different. So normally you do this, and then that's the burst, which is obviously disgusting within gap. And that was just heavy attack into Wreck and Blow. There was nothing else. So it was literally that. Bush. I'm going to switch character now, though. Let me just quickly put this back to how this was. And then I'll show people the Sulk sniper we came up with yesterday. So I'm quite happy with that build. I like that build. It's very decent. Yesterday we came up with this. And the advantage of using the Sulk this time around is you've got access to like really weird skills. You've got like Streak and Cloak, which is insane. Let me travel to Matey's house. Yeah, I want to do it on the same person, so you can see. So that way you can see what the damage is. So we'll do it buffed and then unbuffed. Unbuffed, I think, is about 24,000 resistances, roughly. Oh, there he is. So this is a Sulk sniper. Yeah, so on this one, all we do on this one is your normal skill here, push this, and then you're ready to go. And you literally just push Cloak, Crystal Weapon, and then Sunder and Soul. And you obviously you could have Overload with it too. So I'm going to put on Overload now. And if you attack from behind you get the stun. So the buff skills is Channel Deceleration with Rally, Contingency for the extra damage. This is just speed if we want. So we are going to buff up this time and do it with Overload so you can see what it is. He's buffed fully, so he's got like 30k armor. So you do this. You do that. And obviously, if you get crits, you'd obviously get kill with 6k crits. If we do the crystal weapon in the right order, we get the stun as well. So if you're directly behind them and use crystal weapon and then overload, it does stun them, but you have to be far away. So that's the only problem with this compared to like a snipe build, is that to maximize the stun and like the killing power, you need to be behind them. You need to also get back and sneak in order for it to count. So you have to be at a distance. And you can literally just spam that. I think these here are pulling me out of stealth for some reason. They should. The sun isn't working here. It is funny with like dummies and pets around, but it does work. And I was able to show like yesterday on stream. It's just a bit clunky. Let's see if we can go around here, like, because it's to do with it being counted as a melee skill. That's like where the bug is. I think it's a bug anyway. So if he faces the other way, so you get into sneak. But look, his sneak detection is, so you can see like this is where the house messes it up, because this doesn't happen in PvP normally. I think it's Jaws even, because the sneak isn't working properly. Like I should be able to, oh, now it's working finally. So there you go. So in Jaws it's just very, very funny. He said he's a cat. I'll do it again. The camera's there just for minor berserk. Dead. And obviously you'd get the stun on the combo without like the jewel and the pets being weird. He made a similar build of spec bow. We'll see if we can get it where the Nightblade isn't being pulled out of stealth, because it is like, it doesn't normally do that. Jewels are really weird for this. Like stealth mechanics and jewels are really messed up. So I think we're actually in a good spot. Yeah, yeah, for some reason it just, the jewel is like pulling you out of stealth, which is weird. But you do get the stun normally. So this is what I'm using on this sniper most likely. I said I will test this more, but I'm trying to keep Darlock in the build and Wild Hunt. Let me just take a screenshot of this quick. And I'm going to put the other superstars on so people can see them as well. Rage says he's using 3 Swift and the movement mythic, the Monument mythic. That new one's good. I like that new one. To be honest, in a 300k burst, Tarnished was getting its damage off once. Tarnish is it's okay. It's fine if you kill people, they just die too fast. This one, we're using this. So this is heavy attack ganker. We did try like the Sulk and stuff on this. So we've made, I'll show the Warden as well. So we've done a pets zoo, just stacking pets and heavy attacks, which is stupid. That's actually really toxic. We've done the sniper, which is, I think there's as much damage as we'll get on that whilst keeping the speed. If we drop the speed for the more damage, we'd have obviously more damage. I made a dot build. I want to try this. A back alley command. Eagle Eye's pretty wild. This was a dot build I was working on last night. So we'll see if we can try this in duel. So let me jump to mid to boy. So this is a dot build I was working on as a hybrid. To kind of get, if we were making a ranged dot build, how much damage could we get? We've been trying to make a DK subclass and make an AoE dot build. It is hard to find the set I want. Venomous Smite might be something you want, or Savara Scales. How did this work? I can't remember how this worked. My cat, one sec, so my cat's being Oops. One moment, my cat's trying to scratch my phone charger. Yeah, sorry about that, I'm back. I don't think Meteor's landed. It looks like he's got a cleanse. What was that? That was a incap. That was a big incap. Arcanist AE pull dot would be cool. Let me see if he's got a cleanse. Obviously he's got Betty, just like all the dots went off at once. Yeah, I was wondering where I put all the dots on them and they just disappeared. Betty's only one cleanse though. So you can see like half the dots have fallen off him because of the cleanse. All the dots back on him. Oh, big incap, big incap. Yeah, the Betty, you don't realise how good it is actually. Was it? I think it's every couple of seconds it cleanses. So like every 2 or 3. Every 5 sec. Yeah, the subclassing is decent. I like it. I need to keep at range more on this. There's little birds running everywhere. Incap's really good in 1v1. That was good though. Yeah, trying to get the enough dot damage is quite hard. That little bird set's cool. I didn't realise how much it did. That's hit me really hard, that was. It's like the Unfathomable Darkness set. That's what it makes me think of. I think I need more resistance on this. We got a decent amount, but not enough physical. We need to sit on there more. Bit of lag there. Yeah, I need to play more at range on this. I keep going into melee. I need to use the range and the dot damage. I was using Burn and Ember to apply Burn instantly, and then a Magmor for Fire Breath as a spammable. Incap is very nice though, I like that. I could just run the bear and just be annoying. Yeah, he's definitely got a cleanse or no, something called cleanse set. Get away from the birds. The birds hit really hard. Oh, that's a big Dawnbreaker. Yeah, cleanse set is really good. He's spamming Betty loads, which makes sense. As a Warden, I'd so do that. I think he's just spamming Betty. What was set? He's got the bird set. The bird set's decent. I like that. Because it feels like I'll get loads of dots on him and then they just disappear. Yeah, I was hitting Betty a lot. That would make sense. Crimson Oath, what's that? Yeah, that doesn't do it. Rosecar. Yeah, he's just spamming Betty loads. Which obviously works really well against like a dot build. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, we have to keep him at range. It's like one of those things, as soon as the dots are on them, the damage is good. But as soon as you start to cleanse them, the damage just falls off straight away. But he's got like max resistance, so he's tanky. And he's got lots of heal over time with vigor and stuff. It's just, we need to get the dots on them. At range like this is really nice. Ah, big spec bow. Incap into spec bow is great. That's a 15k spec bow, that's half my health. This is a dot Magden that we're working on for range. So we're fighting a Sulk Magden Templar thing here. It works really well against like dodging the incoming damage. I went to roll it. I couldn't roll it. I tried to roll it. Incap into spec bow into shulks is a lovely combo. I can definitely see a lot of people using that. VX asked, would it ruin PvP earlier? So apologies for the delay. I don't think it will. I think it'll give people a lot more choices. Like you can do weird stuff. I'll switch to my heavy attack pet build. I'll show you that. That's pretty mad, that is. Can't dual Y in combat. No. There's a lot more diversity for sure. Like you can do some really weird stuff. I went to roll. Yeah, deep fish is good. I like that. I will switch. I'll show you the other thing. So that's something we're working on. It's not finished. The Warden. I do have another Warden which has been down here somewhere. This is the zoo build we made tonight. Rage says at least off meta and niche builds seem much more viable, at least for now. Oh, I think what will happen is you'll get a lot more people use like wacky stuff. GG's. Let me. I'll travel back. So the dot build, I think we need to get. We need to have a way to either increase the duration, which is like Serpent's Disdain, which maybe we drop Drago for that just to make it easier to sustain, because the issue we have is that if somebody has like a cleanse and they spam it, it's really, really hard to keep the damage on. You need the dots on them to do the work. Do you think trials we're going to feel pushed to specific tank DPS healer builds? Like with trials and stuff, it depends what you're going for. Like if you're going to go for like min-max top 1%, then yes, you know, that's going to happen because you're trying to push the most efficient tactic. If you're going for like what gets the content done, what's fun, then that's going to change drastically. Is the Stormcloak's broke now? This is like disgusting, this build. Go for the stun. Go on, bear. I think the Relican's going to kill him. Go on, pets. Put my shield. It'd be lovely if my shield would work. Literally could not put on my shield. Could not put on my shield. I was pushing ages for it. The lag is not helping, but it's just mad that you can just sit there and do that for so long. He has a lot of burst with the in-gap into spec bow into deep fissure, like a huge amount of burst. I like the Zuba. I think this is as good as we'll get this. And it is like cheesy. Yeah, to highlight me. You can literally see the Reliquin absolutely destroying him. Ah, there we go. It's just disgusting. Like, Reliquin's absolutely disgusting. He's like so much damage. You think Alkosh is kind of dead? There's so much pen in the class kits now. A DK dots and Scalding Room and Burn Poison. Just checking with chat. Rage was saying, so you now have to weigh class line passives versus sets. Yeah, 100%. When you build your character now, it's going, which passives do I need, and then which sets will complement that build. Go on, bear. Ah, I got him with the dots. Honestly, this is so fucking stupid. Because all I'm literally doing is heavy attacking and I'm just rotating blast bones on my shields and heals. Like, I'm not actually doing many skills. I did 22,000 in 31 ticks. Throwback was saying, all he heard is how subclassing will kill diversity and everyone would just use the same build. I don't think so, Throwback. I think in PvP you're going to have a very mixed bag because you have much more like freedom in PvP than you do normally. So you can really like double down, whereas in PvE the focus is very much max damage. So they're like you're all pushing to the same direction. Whereas in PvP, it's like, I need to have damage, I need to have healing, I need to have sustain, I need to have a mix of stuff. So let me just... Put my shield on, thank you. There's mad lag in here today. We're gonna go for the kill, we are. Go on, bear. Do your magic. Dead. Oh, I'm trying to like cheeky bash. I think I'm gonna change Morph to the one that heals me. Having this many pets is actually like obscene. I went to go for the shield and roll. GG though, did good there. He's got clutch. Look at how many reliquins around him. Look at that. But yeah, like this is not made for dueling. This is literally just meant to be like in battlegrounds and in a group. It's just silly. This is. So Robert is also saying about Alkosh trial sets. So like you normally just stack pen, you might need that now because you've got pen and class kits. Rage says top 1% will have some iteration of Arcanist, probably with Necro skill line. Yeah, it'll probably be Arcanist, Beam, Templar Beam, and then something else because the Templar Execute Beam's really, really good. The Arcanist Beam's great for trash, so they're kind of a good synergy between those two. Robert says Arcanist is a marriage made in zombie heaven. Rage was saying that all the fire damage and taking DK line. So yeah, I think the fire damage from the DK with like the status effects is quite good for DPS, especially with the poison. Just looking, Rage saying about DK, just Rune Carver and Riptide would be wild, or dots with Scald and Rune and burn poison status. Yeah, I think the status with the DK is going to be strong because they hit hard anyway, burning and poisoned. And having that available to all classes would be really nice. Tanks are going to be mad, yeah, 100%. The 95% block you won't be able to do without like stacking passives. And I think it's 80% is the damage mitigation cap. And then Rage is saying he's about trying to make a vampire slap Sulk with spec bow. Only skills that will amp the slap. And then Riles are going to rip at Mag Sulk. I think Mag Sulk's going to be good. Like, Mag Sulk's still in a really good place. You're not going to change it much. I'm very happy with this build, though. I like this. This is silly. This is, like, literally what this update is about. It's creating stuff that you basically go, shouldn't probably work. I'm going to change my shield though, I reckon. Miles is saying Mag Sulk's dead in PvP. I really don't think so. Like when you look at all the skills, it has everything you need. The damage is there, the shields are there, the streak's still there. It's actually one of the few classes that you're not going to change your skill lines because they're so good. I think I'm going to go with Regenerating Ward. With a temp card, 15% damage reduction. So that's a small heal. I'm happy because of the shield. The shield's pretty big. I think this was 10k in PvP, so we can check this quickly. Because if this other shield is, if it's like less than, it's not. It's about the same actually. We got a bit of healing. He's backed boss, trying to get some more defense. Let's see if that works out for him. Ah. Try and get the better to get the execute on him. Ah, I got him. Yeah, this is silly. Miles says everybody's going to grab the Storm Calling skill line. Surprisingly not. I've seen a lot of people use different things. 51k with 65 ticks. That's disgusting. That's like 900 damage a second. Yeah, our Reliquin proc is like nuts. It's 748 damage a second. There it is. 829 and it gets 10 times. It's 8,000 damage a second on this proc. It is obscene if you build this properly. He's very tanky as well, this guy. Yeah, I think just rotating the speed round and having the extra healing. It's not a lot of healing, but it's enough to just keep getting you out of trouble. It's easier to play. We've changed the Twilight. Let's hide behind our pets. the dot's got him still. You want someone you can activate this special Twilight magic cause and still 60% more damage. This is quite good actually. I might actually prefer that morph. It's more like more burst. This is one of the good things of like just doing a couple jewels. You can really tweak and refine the like the setup. But I'm actually using the pets a lot more now than I was for damage. Like they're actually making a big part of my DPS. William says, what sets are you using for the Necro? For Magcro or Stamcro, like just general? I wonder how Beetles would be. Would Beetles be better than Vertebrae? There's obviously the movement buff for like BG, Cyrodiil, but this could be good for like just BGs. I will showcase like the superstar for this as well. So this is what I was using on this like just zoo build. It's pretty stupid. I quite like this. I'm going to go in a moment because it is late where I am. Let me just put this here. For the pets. So are you trying to, if you're trying to like stack just loads of pets and PvP, you are typically going to go with, realistically, summoning gives you 2 permanent pets, which is quite nice. If you're going to go for damage on a necromancer, you really have to use like this skill line here. Blast Bones is decent. The mage is actually a dot. It's not really a thing here. If only Blast Bones, what if you had Stormcalling instead of... I've just noticed something. I think we could sustain this. How many pets have we got? We've got... Yeah, we're going to run this. It's an extra pet. Skeletal Archer does more damage every 2 seconds. AoE. I'm going to probably go with the AoE. Yeah, we're going to drop the Betty for this because we can sustain this. Our sustain's fine. We really have few issues with Magicka. We've got 4 pets there. Blast Bones is 5. Alright, sorry, I've made another tweak to the build. And let me just quickly put that in there because I think I'm going to run this instead. Sorry. William was asking about if only Blast Bones, what if you had Stormcalling instead of and had Mage's Wrath as an execute? I will switch character because I can show you like the answer to that question. Mage's Wrath has a 2-second like window on it, so when you hit them with it, they have to get below 20% within 2 seconds now, which means it's really hard to proc. So I wouldn't use it personally. If you're after an execute, probably go with the Templars and go Dawn's Wrath because you get access to Power of the Light, which is a delayed burst skill. You get access to Radiant Oppression. You get access to Live in Dark plus minus Sorcery is one of the passives in that skill line. So you get loads of damage in that skill line plus an execute, which will probably give you a better time. And you can kind of go as like a corrupted paladin type build where you've got holy magic, but you're dabbling with necromancy, that kind of thing. So maybe that. I'm going to do a rough mock-up. Let me just quickly grab this. It'd be a necromancer. There it is. So I'd do something. It doesn't have to be an orc because the race is like irrelevant, to be honest. Dark Elf is really good for PvP. But I like the idea that you can kind of do this more thematic thing. And somebody did ask earlier if you could like repent as a Templar your corpses that you summon as a necromancer, and the answer is yes. So you could also go down that route too for like sustain, which is quite a cool way to self-sustain. Because repentance is pretty good. It's a really good skill. Robert says, have I made a healer yet? Not yet. I will make a healer. The healers you can make will probably be like broke just because you can stack so many more heal over times than you could before on one build. And not really lose anything. Does that quest line done? Okay. We've now got access to subclassing, so we're going to go to our house. I'll do a rough mock-up, William, just of kind of what I would suggest. It's obviously just a suggestion. You can tweak it as you see fit. And if you want, like, if you are somebody who likes the channel and stuff, I do like these kind of weird sort of builds generally, where they're like they're not kind of what you would expect. So like here's an example of one. I'll show you a screenshot of one of the thumbnails. So if you look at this one here, this is a build I made, and this is what I call the scroll runner. Its base movement speed is at 200% without sneak or sprint. So we move at full speed no matter what we do. We are a warden on this, so we heal and we stack health, but we're immune to range. We also have snare immunity at all times and immobilize immunity. We can use a potion that makes us immune to stun damage. So we can't be stunned, we can't be snared, we can't be slowed. We move at max speed, we're immune to range attacks, and we double as a healer. So I try to make like wacky builds in that like member section. And obviously this is like another example of like utilizing the talk and how could we make the talk mythic really good on Arcanist. Like, it's not a build that you'd look for on YouTube typically. So that's what that section is. It's like wacky stuff where I'm trying to make things that are fun to play. And really like double down on a unique play style. Because that's what I really enjoy. They're like the builds I enjoy the most making. They're fun, they're silly. And yeah, I think, you know, that's kind of what I want to do more of. So if you are interested in that stuff, there is obviously details below. Here's one of the recent ones I made recently. And here's like another example of one. Which is... Let me just... So there's this here, which I was using the explosion skill with certain things, and with the sets and stuff, it causes a chain reaction if you build it right. It has like an 19,000 tooltip with procs. It's just stupid. Really fun build, like really, really fun. So like those kind of things you can do so much easier now with this patch. So like when people are talking about build like variety and class creation, that's the kind of stuff you can do, but it's so much easier. Because now you can go, you know, I want to really double down on AoE damage. I want to really double down on a dot build, or I really want to double down on a necromancer summoning pet build. You can do that much more than you could. So that's the kind of stuff that I'll be doing more of. To William's question, if you're going to make a like necromancer, you typically want to, I think it's put me as a DK for some reason. That shouldn't be an issue. You would have the necromancer Gravelord. So let me get my skill respec. We will go Necromancer, Gravelord, put that there. You would have obviously Blast Bones. Skeletal Mage, Skeletal Arcanist is actually better, the Archer. So you generally use these two. Skulls like hit and miss, I wouldn't use this personally. The rest are pretty like mid. So I'd use those. Put that there. Put that on the back bar, because that's our damage buff. So when we push this, this gives us our damage buff. So that's our damage buff there. It's a plus a dot. That's obviously a skill there. Let me just reload UI. I would then pair the Necromancer corpses with the Templar Execute, because that's what you lack. You lack an Execute. Magical Warden has exactly the same problem. I think it's utility. So here's the like Templar bit you'd put with it. You'd go down and grab from the Templar Dawn's Wrath. You would then drop like summoning, and you would then have execute another burst skill. So you can put like Power of the Light, Radiant Oppression for like a good execute. The Illuminate gives you minor sorcery, which will help with the Necromancer. It gives it more damage, which you do lack, so this is quite helpful. This will give you more burst, which you lack anyway. This will give you the execute, which you lack as a Necromancer. Live in Dark becomes a really good heal over time, and because it's kind of like dark theme, it kind of goes with the sort of theme that you're trying to do anyway. You also have access to the Dark Flare Burst, which has Major Defile. So like you could use this instead of Blast Bones. It's a similar tooltip. Blast Bones is better in my opinion, but you have that option there too. And then it will come down to the third skill line. Now for some reason this made it into a DK, so apologies. But if you're going to try to maximize it for like damage, if you consider the third skill line being possibly a Nightblade Assassination, just because you get access to, so if I preview this, you got obviously in cap, you got a spec bow which hits really, really hard, which is quite nice. You have obviously loads of crit boosts which will help, and these crit boosts will work well with the Necromancer passives in the Gravelord. So like down here, you increase your critical strike chance by 33% when they're low health. So having bonus crit damage when they're low health and higher crit chance is obviously a really, that's going to be really good synergy, especially with dots and stuff. So I would definitely do Dawn's Wrath, Gravelord, and then for the other skill line, you have a choice really. do you go down like a defensive route? Do you go down a healing route? You could look at the Templar and go maybe Restoring Light and get the Cleanse. So you can turn your corpses into resources, which is quite cool. If you did this though, you have to be a Templar. Or you could go down the damage route and go Sorcerer and go Storm Calling. The advantage of Storm Calling is that it gives you access to Streak. So that's a stun, mobility skill. You get more resource. You get more physical and shock damage. You get more damage at high health as they get lower, plus weapon and spell damage. You get Streak, you got Crit Surge, which will heal you. You've got Armor Buff, which movement speed. You got Overload if you want as well. So you could go between Sorcerer, Storm Calling, Necromancer, Gravelord, and Templar Storm Wrath. And all of that would have really good synergy, allowing you to summon pets, do damage with them, as well as have an execute and have mobility. So that's what I'd probably do personally if I was trying to do like a Necromancer viable build. It kind of keeps the theme of the pets with the Necromancer with the Blast Bones hitting hard. And then with the Live in Dark, you get your good heal over time. You just fix the healing with using Healing Soul. Look, this staple, this is good. So you'd use that basically as a way to get your burst heal back into your build. But I would personally avoid the execute on Storm Calling. It's not good. Here it is. It's 2 seconds. Rage says he's hitting 148% crit damage with 75% crit chance spec bows. The crit damage max is 125%. Just, you might want to drop that a little bit. I could be wrong, but I'm 99% sure it's 125% bonus damage when you crit is like the max you can get. It might be 145 even. If it's for PvP, then it's fine because obviously they got impen. But yeah, 50k spec bow will be pretty good. Yeah, that makes sense. Are you using like Back Alley Gourmand, Nightblade, Khajiit, those kind of things? I am going to kind of call it here in a moment because it is very late where I am. I will put a post on the channel. I think there's one up already, which I'll link in a second. It's basically like streaming stuff, but if you've got ideas of builds you want to see or ways to make things quite nutty, put it in the comments. Let me know what you think, and then I'll obviously have a little look and see what I can come up with. Because this is new to everybody. I've got ideas, as does other people, but there's going to take a lot of trial and testing, and things are going to go really well, things are going to be a bit naff. And I'd rather go through this phase now, so that when the patch does drop, we know exactly what to do. So if you do want to see stuff, and have ideas, there's a post there which you can obviously put like comments on and stuff, and I'll get access to that, or you can join my Discord. If you join my Discord, there's like loads of channels and stuff, you can ask questions, etc. But I'm going to kind of call it here. So I'm going to say a massive thank you for just people watching this long, and likes and stuff help. If you haven't done so, do subscribe, usual YouTube stuff. And if you want to support myself and get like early access to videos and exclusive content and so on, there's details down below. But I'm going to say a massive thanks to everybody. I'll catch you in the next video and next stream. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care and bye.